Yes, sir. Good morning, participants. Welcome back to the session 5 of today's FTP program, sponsored by Atal, conducted by College of Management, SRM IST. The session 5, HR Tech Digitalization of HR Functions by Mr. Rajan Babu, co-founder and director HR, Arga HR Technologies, Chennai. Let me give a brief introduction to our chief guest today. Dr. Rajan Babu strongly believes that training and approaches through practical model can bring in transformation in one's attributes and approach towards life, both on personal as well as professional front. He is an engineering graduate from Coimbatore Institute of Technology, also awarded with postgraduate in personnel management and industrial relations from Coimbatore Productivity Council. He started as a personnel officer and has worked hard to be the co-founder and director HR of a concern. On his way to the top of the ladder, he rose to the level of personnel officer to general manager HR and operations. He has worked for companies to name Maruti Laboratories, Saab Miller from South African, SL Max Korean, MA Maclay Engine Components German, Sona Koyo Steering Systems Indo-Japan, NSK Bearings India Japanese. Industries worked include pharma, brewing, and auto ancillary manufacturing units in various capacities. A passionate HR professional, a strong belief in human resources is human relationship first and ensures respect is to be gained and not to be demanded, has handled the entire gamut of HR, IR, ER, plant admin, employee involvement initiatives, manufacturing excellence, stores management, supply chain management, and plant operations, and brought in changes. He advocates challenges are opportunities, always, and has signed 7 wage agreements with unions and work committees. He strongly believes in proactive approach in maintaining industrial harmony, initiated proactive steps in handling union and members, and brought in changes. He has held various positions, to name a few: chairman as safety committee, 5S compliance committee, risk management committee, and management representative for various ISO 14000 audits. And he is also a qualified internal auditor. And with 30 years of rich experience in the field of HR, IR, and plant admin management, he is now the co-founder and director HR at Arga HR Technologies, an online HR organization being built exclusively for HR industry. Arga is a Sanskrit word meaning creating values. Through Arga, he offers all HR services at just one click. It's www.arghaa.com. Through various talent improvement initiative programs, both at in-house and external, he is also bringing transformation in the minds of students, young budding professionals, trainer on various subject focuses with real-time experience, sharing to various corporates. He is passionate in training bottom line and middle-level members and helps in bringing in change in the mindset, helping in improving the performance both at personnel and office personnel. He has been awarded with various awards, to name a few: Lifetime Achievement Award for maintaining industrial harmony in industries in Gandhian way from Indian National Trade Union Congress INTUC in 2015, President of Sharp HR Forum, a forum of HR professionals of Sri Perumbudur Industrial Belt since 2011. He was conferred with Doctor of Letters for contributions to human resources and industry by International Tamil University, USA in 2016. He is also awarded an HR Icon Award 2019 during Global Summit of Tamil Entrepreneurs and Professionals 2019 conducted by the RISE Global Tamil Entrepreneurs Forum. Sir, with a brief introduction, I welcome you, sir, on board to share your experience and your vast experience on HR Tech digitalization of HR functions. Welcome you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Shuganti. I think it was not a brief, but it was an elaborate introduction. But you have forgotten one thing to add is like married with one wife and one daughter. Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
and SRM has always been a very close to my heart, right? And off late, like I've been to your institute several times, and more affinity is like my daughter is also an ex-student there. So there is a lot of what do you call affinity towards SRM always. So thank you, Kavita, for the continuous follow-up, and thank you, Shuganti, for the introduction. For next 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes, what I'm going to talk about is thank you, Kavita, madam, for the continuous follow-up. I thought you were missing and suddenly you have come.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm just going to share like what I've come across throughout my 30 years of career and how I started, where how the functions were, and now how the functions are. Right. Okay. So before I start, I would like to start with one small quote by George Westman, who talks about digitalization, right? So when the digitalization, digital transformation happens, it has to be like from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Okay, so the metamorphosis should happen in such a way that, so that what happens, the digital transformation becomes easier, acceptable, and then becomes user-friendly. Okay, and when it is done right, it is like from caterpillar moving to a butterfly. When it is wrong, and there you'll have to be not like a caterpillar, but a very fast caterpillar. Okay, so this is the quote that I would like to say in the beginning. And to just go through like what I've understood on this digital transformation is like two things are there. One is like what do you call the digital transformation is nothing but transferring all the manual process into digitally. So I remember still when I started my career, everything was manual, right? Even including your attendance systems. So all those things were like, what do you call it, was all manual. And today you see like it is transformed into like, you can just sit, you can understand what is happening, right? And you can also find out whatever you want, you can always take it from the, so that's the transformation that is happening here. And I'll be just talking about two important things. One is on internal, that is what happens inside the factory. And second one is like how digital transformation has helped HR both internally as well as externally. So these are the 2 points that I'm going to touch upon and share some experiences. To understand all these things is like, just want to put a question. I think I'll always be happy, to see like you can just text so that I'm also active, you're also active. I know like after 11 o'clock of continuous transformation that is happening inside virtually, I think some kind of activeness has to be required. So just a small question to all of you professors, gurus, I can say, right? Okay, because you're the gurus, right? And why digital transformation is required in HR? Anybody? You can just put and talk, or you can just text.
Hello, sir. My name is.
So why digital transformation is required?
Easy functioning.
Okay, easy function.
To avoid human errors, sir. To avoid human errors.
Human errors. Okay.
To overrule biased judgments.
Yeah, but judgment, the ultimate key is with you only. Putting yes or no is with you, so you can always be biased also in that. I'm sorry.
Sir, this human resource is the only active, I can say, ingredient of any business. So if we'll use the analytics, we can have better results, better people, the position at a better place, the apt place, we can say.
Okay.
Repetitive jobs can be automated.
Very honestly telling us like all this HR was looked at in the last. Okay,
Yes.
any budget that is required, they'll say that we look at it little later. This
Cost reduction.
Pardon?
Maybe cost reduction.
Cost reduction in the sense, sir?
over a period of time, if it's going to be a capital expenditure, maybe little later, digitalization, automation, all these things, automation decisions.
But a question to all of you is like, say the moment you say automation, what is happening inside the mind of everybody?
Repetitive jobs can be automated so that you can spend more time on workful job.
No, that is right. But the moment you say automation inside a plant or inside somewhere, if you just go back to 90s when all these computers came inside, I know like
to reduce the manpower.
understood like what it was and how it was.
To reduce the manpower.
Okay, fear of losing a job was always there, right?
Yes.
Wherever automations, and even today it is happening, like wherever automation is happening, the first feeling comes is like, okay, somebody is going to lose a job.
Keep track of the skill sets of the people so that you don't have to search again and again.
Yeah, of course that is there, but why this is required? Like why the transformation or digital transformation is required?
Sir, my name is Deepa Narayanan. May I talk, sir?
Yeah, please.
Sir, actually, this automation has given way to many things because routine jobs can be set off for machines, and human resource can really be used for much more wonderful jobs and certain sensitizations which we have to do in human can be stopped, and machines can do that in a much better way.
Okay. Good.
Thank you, sir.
To me, it's like what I understand, like three important things are there. Why, specifically with respect to HR digitalization or digital transformation required in HR. One is like the first one is like to maximize the employee experience. Second one is to automate all the process, reduce the time, like what earlier it was said, reduce the time on repetitive tasks. And third one is like freed up time to strategy ultimately benefit the bottom line. Okay, so these are the three things that what is happening is like normally in an industry where you need to support with a lot of data and tell inform management, this is what is going to happen. And the second important point is like, because bringing in digital transformation, it has to be ensured that, okay, nobody's going to lose the job. Only thing is like somebody said, you'll have to improve the skills that is required. Okay, so the next important thing is like three things are there, like as a HR, need to understand three important things. One is digitization. Second one is digitalization. And third one is digital transformation. So what is digitization? What is that we understand as digitization?
Whatever manual record you have, computerize them, and so that it is in the computer. You can
Fantastic. Yes. So it is a shift from manual process into digital process. Digitalization.
Use of technology and tools for using the digitized data properly.
Yeah. But I'll just put it I'll just add value to it. See what is happening is like, normally there is always resistance, like when something is being transformed, be it whether manual or digital, whatever happens. So one is like the second, digitalization is something like you're creating a culture of using technology to run the business. Okay, simple terms. It is creating a culture to using technology to run the business. So when you're using this, when you're doing some digitalization, what happens is like it has to be more friendly. It has to be user friendly and accepted by everybody. Okay. So the third one is like on digital transformation. What is that we understand as digital transformation? So we talked about digitization, we talked about digitalization, and then what is digital transformation? Any thoughts, please?
Moving towards a paperless.
Okay, so that's something very basic.
Make the people do the job, work with the computer, giving them the learning experience, understand how to use the computer, because many people may not be knowing how to use. So make a transfer totally and bring out the culture. That is digital transformation, I feel.
Okay, fine. Right. See, my understanding or the definition for digital transformation that I can say is it is the outcome of digitization in an organization ready to adapt to the rapid evolution of technology. So whatever technology is there, people should be in a position to adapt. So that could be the digital transformation. Normally what happens is like, what my experience is like, we have seen digitization happening very fast because people feel very happy that, okay, my work is getting reduced. All the manual processes are getting, turned into a digital process. It was very easy for me. But again, digitalization, yes, I was able to accept when the transformation was happening. What happened is like, there is always what you call a lot of resistance. Okay, so we'll have to be very careful in explaining things like it is not going to affect, only help and not. And I normally tell the examples of 90s when I just started my career, when all these computers came. So a lot of resistance were there saying that, okay, a lot of people are going to lose job. But unfortunately, or fortunately, what happened is like the transformation that happened in 90s, I think it created a lot of avenues for job, a lot of avenues. So a lot of opportunities were created in terms of technology improvement. I think that was the time in India specifically, like a lot of technology driven things were happening. Just a few thoughts on, before I just get into it, I thought, okay, I'll just share some understanding that what I have just come across. Okay, so a few steps are required when you want to have this, what I call HR digitalization to be successful. So the first point is like, you always need to have your goals very clear. Because if it is not clear, the implementation part is going to get affected. The first is like, you need to understand, you need to define what exactly is required. What is that transformation or digitalization or transformation that we are going to bring? That needs to be very clear. The second one is like, who is going to implement? Because everybody, yes, in the beginning, everybody might not be good in that. Only few will be there. So we'll have to be very clear to see like who's going to implement this idea. The third one is like, if enough resources are available inside, it is okay, fine. Or we'll have to look at somebody who can just come and support us in helping this transformation process if required. Next one is like very important is like the transformation happens, but a time frame is not always there. We always have some excuses that is happening. So the first point is like, there should always be a time frame. Okay, might be like A, B, C, plan should be there, and it should not go to D, it should again come back to A. So a defined time frame should be there. Then next one, very important is like the process needs to be identified. The kind of digital platform that we're going to use needs to be identified. Next, the very important one is like, we should ensure that the C-suite people, right, to invest, C-suite approval is required, people are involved. So that what happens is like, as I said in the beginning, HR always comes in the last, but when the problems comes, we are always on the first. Okay, so C-suite people should be there. And then the most important thing is like, we need to prepare the team for change. Because today, whether it is there or not, any change, the first resistance is always there. So we should always ensure that, okay, our team is there, prepared well, the change is accepted by everybody. And here, the most important is, the communication plays a very, very important role, because like I've seen in my career, whenever we had some small automation that is being happened, we had a lot of resistance from the bottom line people. Okay, so all these things happen is all of a sudden overnight it all happened. Then we understood, okay, the transformation should happen with proper communications. So then thereafter we have been very successful in bringing automations. And then last one, it is not just for the sake of digitalization, but the digitalization should become a culture. Because today that is the need of the hour, and we should become, and it should be a culture. Okay, so some of the challenges that we have seen during digital transformation is, one is like, as I said in the beginning, the goal should be very clear. So it is unclear. So we'll do this first, we'll do this second, we'll do this third, and then we landed up nowhere. So lack of clear and a strategy or goal for digital transformation was a big challenge. Then the second one is like somebody was saying, I think Balasubramaniam had said, the lack of budget. Okay, so I think once you need to do this, you'll have to have a budget plan very well, get it prior approval, have a demo that is happening, and then find out what it is. Because why here is like, we have found, like I've worked in different organizations, and different organizations, though the basics are same, but the processes are different. So you'll have to understand those, and then it becomes, it helps us to bring this transformation very quickly. Then again, upgrading to new digital solutions. I think we forget today what is happening is like we normally do it with what is available now, but we forget about the future. And I've seen a lot of, for example, the attendance system. We were working with one particular area. It was just for in-out, and it was only for that. But when subsequently the payroll management came, then we were finding it very difficult. So we had to again invest. So we'll have to look at the agility. And then the other important thing is like initially, yes, I too struggled. I still remember in 90s when I was just moved into SAP Miller, there was a big box that was given in front of me. It was a PC box, a bigger one. And not knowing, 6 years I worked, but it was all manual. And suddenly I was instructed that you'll have to work in only computers. Okay, I still remember typing a letter, right? And I thought, okay, it is just when you type a letter in the Word document, I thought it is only one page. Then everything that I used to do is that I used to compress it within that page. And suddenly one day I got a mail and then I saw it was 2-3 pages. Then without any hesitance, then I just called my IT guy and I asked him like how I can move to the next page. And it was very simple. Just put enter in the last stage and then you'll go to the next page. So that's how I've learned a lot of things. So those days it was all Fox Pro. I didn't know anything, but learned on my own, just looking at it and then started writing those programs. It helped me a lot in Provident Fund because we had a trust in Provident Fund. So we had to maintain the accounts. Earlier it was maintained manually. And then once we had the system, it was very easy for us also. And mostly what happens is like the biggest challenge was resistance from C-suite is nothing but the top management to invest. So I think this takes a lot of commitment to convince the C-suite people or the top people to say that, okay, these are the things that is required. Okay, so these are the challenges that we faced. Just wanted to give a small brief on like what I've understood on digitalization and transformation. But over a period of time, what I've understood is like, okay, working manually and then moving into the digital process, it helped me a lot. Okay, so the benefits that I found was what happened is like the first and important thing is like I was able to predict the future workforce, like what is required might be next 2-3 years, and what is the expectation of millennials. So for a particular job description, what kind of people I was looking at, it became very easier. Earlier I used to search, and today it was very big, useful for me. And then we were able to get a lot of employee experience because like whatever was being said, we were able to attend immediately. And third one is like the very important one, like somebody was telling, like the accuracy in the dashboard and analytics data, like was very, very helpful. I just over next few minutes, I'll be just talking about how it helped in getting those accurate data. Okay, so and the other part was like managing workforce in the terms of like the absenteeism part, the attrition part, it was and the performance part, it was in a position we were able to identify a lot of things there. And then third one is like not only this, we were able to identify the efficiency at the workplace also. Like we were able to find out like what is happening, who's doing what is happening inside the shop floor, who's doing good, who's not doing good. So which line was doing good, which line was not doing good. So we were able to do it. And in fact, we just went a little one step ahead also. Like we were able to understand like what was the target, what was actually met, what was actual quality. And we were also able to get a lot of information. Earlier it was all manual. By the end of the shift, we were able to understand like, for example, like what was the downtime in various aspects. And finally, what happened is like digitalization. Earlier it was something different, but once the transformation happened, a lot of value was added from HR. Because we were also in a position to give a lot of data. Like normally what happened is like the production is always looked at because they wanted, it was always behind numbers. Because the numbers you produce always gives you light, but who makes it was not at all bothered about. So, but once all this digitalization happened, it was very easy for us to establish that, okay, we are also part. And that's how like what has happened is like off late, we have been talking about HRS business partners. Okay, so a few five important points that I thought, okay, I'll share with you on transformation, HR digital transformation. Of course, it was also there in the beginning, but what happened is like, it was taking little time. For example, we wanted to have some data, we'll have to go to the personal file, take all those data, come back, and then again make it, and then again show it. Okay, and then we used to have this graphical, nothing was in graphical or pictorial presentations were very minimum. But once we had this digitalization, we were able to do it in a different way. The presentations become very good. So even when one single sheet, we were able to present to the top management like what was happening. Okay, so the first one is like we were able to create something good for the future. Okay, so we were able to a clear strategy we were able to make a clear strategy on like what is required for the next 2 years, what is required for next 3 years. So what kind of manpower is going to happen. So all these things we were able to predict. Second one is like we were also able to create an what do you call good employee experience. For example, if you take we were able good engaging experience, like so something is being mailed to us or something was done in the software, we were able to reply immediately. If not me, my subordinates were able to do it. So we were able to do it, and then what happened is like the productivity of HR also improved, and efficiently like we were able to solve a lot of issues. The third one is like the accuracy of data. So like earlier we were like even a lot of distractions happen. So we were making a lot of mistakes. Okay, for example, if you were able to do it like, say, instead of putting 0, 1 and then you put 10, the entire data goes wrong, and it becomes very difficult to identify. But once the digital transformation happened, then it became very easy for us to have the accuracy of the data. At least 99% we were able to give the accurate data. And the third one is like we were able to manage workforce because like a lot of things are there. Like sometimes this helped us know, like we were sitting at home, we had a lot of apps that was coming. For example, I wanted to take a leave. So earlier it was something different. I used to come, get the permission from supervisor, then take the leave letter, then give it to drop it into the leave letter box, then HR has to take it and then make an entry. And then by default, if something happens, if suppose I tend to forget, what happens if we have a lot of grievance that is happening. But now this became bigger, it has become easier for us. The employee himself can apply for the leave, and the supervisor can approve it, and then it comes back to HR. And the latest is like the automatically what happens is like if once it is approved, the leave also gets inside the system. So what happens is like you need not, it is only to just verify whether it has happened or not. That's it. But we are able to get all those data. And today digitalization, HR digitalization is helping us a lot. Transformation is to respond business changes. If anything is happening, we are able to analyze like what is really required. For example, there is a change in the product, able to analyze like quickly is like what is the exact manpower, which line is going to operate, and what is the exact manpower is required. So what we can do with the excess manpower. Okay, so all these things helps us during, and being in a VUCA world today, like you don't know like what is going to happen tomorrow. This transformation has helped a lot to analyze like what the business needs also, like whatever is there, we are able to project and then tell them, okay, next 2 months or 3 months, this is what is we want really. And it helps in planning. And like a lot of people who said is like, a lot of time is saved in terms of scratching your head and what to do because you do not have data immediately. You'll have to work or you'll have to be dependable on some other person. But today what is happening is like the digitalization has helped a lot to bring in a lot of transformation within HR itself. So we have also now become what you call is like fully equipped with all the informations. We know what is happening. We know we can give inputs. We can tell you like, okay, this is what is there. And this kind of transformation has helped us to become a strategic partner or give a lot of inputs to the management. And the management who had refused in the beginning to invest, and today they all feel happy that yes, this is also required. And only thing is like my request here is like what normally is like getting upgraded to what is happening becomes very difficult. Even for me, it took about 2 to 3 years before I joined some MNC companies where it is all fully digitalized. You have to understand what it is. And then might be like, once you started understanding, it became easier for us to give all the informations. So to just give you some good examples of where all like the HR transformation is happening or happened is, I would like to split it into 2 areas. One is like operative and one is like on managerial functions. for example, like how it has helped. Earlier, it was like, for example, I wanted to look at Rajan's details. So what I was doing earlier. Any inputs earlier? So now we are coming into the transfer, how it has helped. Suppose I want the details of Balasubramaniam, and Balasubramaniam is working in a factory. So what I was supposed to, what I was doing earlier.
You have to go to his personal file, open it. How long was that? When did he join? Full particulars, you have to take it out.
Yeah. But again here, Bala, what happens is like the timer searching your file itself takes a long time. Am I right? Because we used to have a big, what do you call?
That's right. You have to have a rack and then put
rack, and then you'll have to go search. Might be like we would have followed all the disciplines, TPM and TPM and all those things we would have followed. But still what happened is like somebody else would have taken and then misplaced your file. And the error chance is like might be 2 Balasubramaniams are there. Then what I've done is like instead of taking you, I would have taken the Balasubramaniam of another Balasubramaniam. So what happened is like we had a lot of errors. And this would be found out as like at the last minute of discussion, we would have found out like the file that we have taken is something different. Okay, but today what has happened, digitalization, yes, the moment I join on the organization, all the details are filled inside. At a click, what is happening, I'm able to understand when Bala has joined, where he has worked earlier, what is his experience. So all the details, like, so it becomes easier for me to identify. And only thing is like, I should understand only one important thing is like, I should employ the, remember the employee code of Balasubramaniam. Just put 3 numbers, I get all the information about him. Okay, so this employee data, I think this has been helped a lot. So it is all gone. So we have all the information about Bala from, and over a period of time, what is happening is like, it becomes like from the date of joining till the end, till he leaves the organization, all the informations are there about Bala. And we are also happy today is like, we are able to also take insight or pin in some disciplinary action that is being also taken. So what is happening, any point of time you refer, then you can always do it. So the second one is like very important is on the recruitment side, we're able to now bring in a kind of tracking system, right? So how many people have attended, so how many people have, it starts like, okay, the entire HRS cycle is now in the digital form. So for a person joining, like, so when did he attend the interview, whether he was shortlisted or not, so why he was rejected, and all those things are there available with us, right? Okay, so applicant tracking is becoming, the next one is like benefits. So what are benefits? So we have a lot of things that is happening here, benefits is there. And most importantly is like time and attendance. I still remember we were signing the registers first. Okay, and then what happened is we had a big clock there. So we used to have punch cards. So we used to have a time office guy take everything, makes an entry there. Then he goes out, then he puts in the attendance and he comes. And then there is always a delay in what you call like the processing the salary like. So today it is all gone. So today what is happening, like we had the cards earlier, then we had this thumb impression, and now COVID has now taught us face reading also. Okay, so we are able to, like with the face reading, like with the showing your face, you're able to have your attendance system improved. Okay, and this now is made it easier for us to have, what do you call, the payroll process very easier. And then the most important is like on the operational side is like we are able to get all the reports that is required. For example, like absenteeism in a manufacturing organization, what normally happens is like every day morning there is a fight between HR and production people, right? So many people were absent, we were not able to produce. But the HR digitalization has helped us to identify like okay, what is required. We are also able to penetrate little more deeper, line wise, section wise, to identify who has come, who has not come. Okay, so this is on the operation front that we are able to get all the is help. So on the manufacturing functions is like we are able to identify how it has helped us the performance appraisal system. Earlier it was like we were doing manually, and today it is all becoming like your KPIs are put inside, and every month what happens is like your performance is either captured or you are manually entering it. So what happens at the end of the time, like okay, by end of 31st March, your performance appraisal is ready and your score is ready, and then your increments are finalized. Then all the policies now we had, I think all of you will accept, like we had all the policies so big, right, in a big file. So any new guy coming says like you just give it to him and then he gets worried. And today it is all now in the site itself. So you just get into it, and whatever policy, whatever clarification that you require, you can always do it. You can just verify it, and then you can do it. It will become easier. And the biggest advantage is like it is not just sitting in the office alone, but you can always do it at your home place also, provided you have all the permission to access. You can sit from home, and then also you can do it. Okay, so this is all the part of managerial functions, and just quickly running through like what all transformations have happened here. First is like I still remember on the payroll management, we were done. I hope Bala is right. We were doing it manually. So time office function gives you all the attendance details, and the payroll, what happens is like he used to have the register and then put all the days. Have a calculator. Might be some guys who are very good in doing it. They were all brainy also. Like I still remember my father was a finance guy. So you give him a big page of sheet, he'll just count it in few minutes and then tell. Then we had calculators coming inside. Okay, so we were doing it with calculators. We were doing it. And then next what happened is the next transformation happened. We got all this Excel sheets that was there. We were processing the salary. It saved little more time on Excel. Then we were doing on Excel sheets. Then it was very useful. And what happened is like then slowly what happened is Excel sheet, whatever we were doing it was just customized for a few people and then became as a software. So today what has happened is like, it is enough that I punch my in and out is it is enough. Okay, if I work more also, it gives you like, okay, I've worked more and it gives you the overtime is captured. But today what is happening, the attendance part is there. Once this is over, the month that the payroll process is there. Only thing is like, you'll have to create something good. Your salary structures needs to be created in an Excel sheet, and it has become easier also now. You can just upload your CSV files or your Excel sheet into that, and then it is captured. Okay, so payroll management has become very easier. And the advantage that has become now more is like earlier, yes, we were processing in software, then we were paying by check. Okay, the check was deposited and then we used to go to bank, run all those things. But today what is happening, at a single click, we are able to transfer the funds to all the people. So the one is like the payroll management has helped us a lot. And at the same time, what has happened is like crediting our salary also has been, delay in crediting the salary has totally gone now. If it is on first, it happens on first. Okay, so this is on the payroll management. So it has helped a lot. And from the payroll management, we were also able to get a lot of information. For example, like earlier we were working manually to find out what it is. Today we were able to find out like what is the employee cost. So what is the statutory requirement that we'll have to pay. So what is the absenteeism. So everything we were able to, and we were able to identify and get it in the payroll management itself. So for me, for example, is like that payroll sheet alone is enough to get all the information that is required. Okay, I used to get like the absenteeism details, the present details, absenteeism, I was able to calculate line wise, category wise, I was able to do it. So I was able to categorize the employee cost. So what was actual, so it became very easy for me to do it with the, make an analysis with budget and where the actuals. So I was able to do a variance analysis very quickly, and it was done within, say, the moment it is all over, we were able to do it in next few hours. Okay, so that was the thing on payroll management. So the next one is like employee profile management, as I said in the beginning. So any information that I want to have is like just at the click of the code number, I was able to get all the information about him, including his absenteeism. So leave management became very easy. So anybody whose systems have improved a lot, but still some places, yes, we do have manual, manual interventions are still there, but still it is all being tried to, but still if it is still manual in the shop floor, but when it comes to the HR, it becomes auto. The transformation happens, so everything is entered into the system, into the software, and then it starts processing. So leave management has helped us a lot, but only the biggest challenge here is like my supervisor has to see immediately. Okay, if he becomes busy, what happens is like it fails. So it becomes very difficult here. So leave management has helped us a lot. So we were able to do it. The next one is like benefits and compensation. We were able to calculate what it is. So earlier we used to take all these sheets individually and then start working. Today we are able to identify like what it is, and we are able to do it like if I give you an increase of so much, like what is going to happen. So what is the impact that is going to happen? So all these things have become inside here. And another important area where it is being helped us is like training management. So we are able to identify the capability. So who's good in what? So we were able to like identify the training needs also, like systems have the digitalization has helped us in training. And then we were also here, the important part is like we were able to identify whether he has improved or not, or whether further retraining is required. So training management is, it has helped the training management. And the another important area is like health and safety management. Okay, so we were able to capture a lot of actions that was happening, a lot of safety issues that was happening, because like everybody had even near miss injuries were captured. So this was, we were able to, these things were helpful in predicting like on the, okay, if this is not attended to, and we had a lot of pop-up messages coming in, like, okay, this is not being attended to and you'll have to do it immediately. So this helped in improving the safety and health conditions of the employees. And the last one, another important one is like reporting and tracking. So it all became very easier. Okay, I think most of you, we would have also been doing it like here. So tracking and reporting became very, very easier. So I still remember I was just working on a budget for the entire company, and every time, you know, these finance guys come and then they tell you, no, the cost is very high and you'll have to rework again. Just imagine working for a company with about say 250, 300 crores. Takes a lot of time. Okay, and then one particular day what I did is I just sat and I told nobody should disturb, and I just worked in such a way. This is just a real example that I would like to give you, like it helped me. Okay, so I just worked one full day, taking all the inputs and what all is required, understanding what really was required by the finance guys, and made it in such a way that what happened is like any second they were asking me, the next 10 minutes I was giving them the revised budget. So addition, deletions, things all were made perfect, and it helped me a lot. And at one particular time, what happened is like everybody started coming to me is because I had all the data and I was able to give them all the information what is required for the company. Even including, please remember, it was the past 5 years data also. Okay, so here my request is like to all of you is like
use database for that.
It is helping, but at the same time, like you need to understand what is really required, and then it becomes user friendly. Otherwise, what happens is like it becomes complicated, and then when you start working, you don't get the output what really is expected. Okay, so these are the few areas that I wanted to tell. Okay, so and the another important thing that the transformation, digital transformation helped us like for me particularly was to understand what is really happening in the workplace. Okay, so we were really worried about workplace, and a lot of analytics helped us. For example, is like we were able to get wonderful information from these areas in terms of like turnover, like how many people were working, how many people have left. And one step we went ahead is to get information at what period people have left. For example, it is what the first 3 days of the joining, or first 15 days of the joining, or 3 months, or 6 months, or 1 year. So what happened is like this gives us a lot of information to correct our induction schedules. Like, okay, so this helped a lot. So we were able to understand like what the headcount could be. We were able to plan headcounts. For example, according to the business needs, sometimes what happens in a month, like you have a sudden volume increase. So you'll have to see like how you can plan. Suddenly you have a volume drop. So you'll have to see, because ultimately what happens is like the C-suite always expects or stands firm on the cost. So we were able to do this, and then we were also able to find out risk. What are the various risks that is available in terms of compliance issues, in terms of other safety issues. We were able to identify what are the compliance issues, and recruiting. We were able to get all the informations like where we were successful, where we went, where it was a failure, what happened exactly. Then performance, we were able to get all the informations, because for performance, to set the performance standards, we need to have all the informations. For example, like what is the productivity and other things. So pay, we were able to identify and do it. So diversity, we were able to do it, and then we were able to help benefits. All this thing put together, what happened is like, and it became transparent. So a line leader can see what is happening. And earlier it was only with line leaders, they will give half information, HR will have the half information, and the top guys will give only half information. But with this, what happened is like at a click, what happened is like everybody were able to see like what is happening, and the more transparency was available. Okay, so what happened is like, for example, the benefits, what we found was like, we were able to intervene and then solve issues first, because we had all the informations. At a click, we were able to understand things. So we were able to intervene, then solve many issues. And mostly it was helpful relating to like, because there's always a dispute between the production, like I produced this, I produced not this. We had a lot of IR issues. It helped a lot in interventions. The next one is like the effectiveness we were able to identify. And then third one is like we were able to sit with the management and talk. So this is what is happening. This is what's the past and future. This could happen. Yes, this is what is going to happen. We were able to predict what is going to happen in the future based on this transformation. I think it was very useful for all of us here to ensure this transformation happening here. And what I was talking about is on the inside of factory. And today we are also happy like on the other front, right? So because HR is normally responsible for legal also, right? So legal also, like a lot of transformations have happened here. For example, if you look at, if you want to start a factory, then what happened is like you'll have to take all the drawings, you'll have to take all the things manually, get it to go to the inspectorate, then you'll have to sit with them, discuss, and then come back, and then inspections, a lot of things happen. So traveling itself takes a lot of time. Today, what is happening is like everything has become online. You want to have a license, you do it, whatever documents are required, the process is explained very clearly. So only thing is like you'll have to fill it, do it, and then if any clarifications is there, you'll have to go sit with them and then discuss and then do it. So getting licenses have become easier for Factories Act, whether it is contract labor, whether it is getting a factory license, it is whether renewal or whatever is happening, like it has become easier now. Okay, so traveling time is gone. So similarly, like what happens is like inspections are being done, the inspection reports are being sent. So earlier it has to come by post, it get missed, you will not reply, then what happens is it becomes a serious legal complications. Today it has all become easier. You get a mail, whatever is there, you get a mail. You have a lot of Google Forms, and recently also during COVID, the government officials wanted a lot of information. In fact, we were supporting, they had just a Google form irrespective to vaccinations, what is being happening. So every day morning light is just enough that you do that Google form fill up, then the collector office, they were able to do it. So this is a kind of transformation that was happening here. So Factories Act, you take Provident Fund, you have Employee State Insurance Act, whatever it is, like what has it has all become digitalized now. Earlier, for example, is like I have to make a payroll. Then I still remember when I started my career, we used to fill challans for remitting Provident Fund or ESI. You'll have to remit. Okay, so then you'll have to take it to State Bank of India. You'll have to stand in queue, and then you'll have to pay it and then come. And it is all within due days. And you'll have to send them a copy. Today, it has all become very easier. It is like the moment you finish it, your software is also getting connected. Few softwares I've seen like it is getting connected to the payment part also, like, and only thing is the challan is generated, the challan gets, there is a pop-up message to the accounts department, and then it is done, the payments are done immediately. So a lot of delays are avoided, and it has helped a lot. And recently is like, if you look at it, is like earlier settlements we had to run behind the companies. Today it has become very easy. Provident Fund, you can just go apply, you can give, only thing is like your KYC should have been updated. If it is there, you can have your settlement without the employee signature. And transfer of earlier, I still remember transferring Provident Fund from when I moved from companies to companies, the transfer from Provident Fund is very difficult. So because the range is different, the regional office is different, you'll have to send from here, they'll miss it. Then I had to interget. And I still remember I talked to regional Provident Fund commissioner, and then he helped a lot. But today it has all become online. You can just put it, the uniformity has always become now, it has become one UN number is there, unified account number is there. Without any companies you move in, it becomes very easier. So these are the digitalization that is helping on us on the legal front also, like, and today we have seen like audits that is also happening is on online. You give them all the documents, they give you some link, you submit all the documents there, they verify it, and then the certification also happens. And COVID has given us more and more transformations have happened. Might be this itself is a good example. Earlier we used to have it in a place. The connect was more, but here today it is virtual. We are able to do a lot of things. And last 2 years, I think, yes, we have been all virtual, and the technology has helped, and we can see a lot of, things have changed a lot. Okay, so these are the parts that is on legal front. So just a quick run through on what has happened from HR transformation results. What I've looked at is certain thing is like a lot of you said in the beginning is like earlier, and when I was traditional, a lot of paperworks were there. It was only an administrative function. Then more manpower was required because, like, for example, for each and everything you need to have one man, each manpower, and then he should be an expertise in that area. Then, of course, to having too much of manpower and too much of workspace, it was costlier, it was time consuming. A lot of time was taken to get one report. and then it was a very slow process. For example, one person is on leave, the entire process stops. I still remember when my colleague was not there, there was a delay in paying the challan because he was the only guy who used to prepare the challan and then remit it. Okay, then lot of errors were there. For example, instead of, as I said in the beginning, is like one, just say one, instead of putting 0, 1, you would have done it as 10. Okay, so a lot of errors and finding that becomes very, very difficult. Okay, when it becomes digital, what happened is like, first point is like I was able to access anything, anywhere relating to my company, sitting at home, right? I was given the access. So once you're given access, I was able to access, and a lot of paperworks were reduced, saving a lot of, saving a lot of paper itself is a big boon for all of us. So less manpower, but I will say, but less manpower, but overloaded, because you'll have to improve yourself. So 5 people's job, you'll have to do it in 1 person without making a mistake. So even if you make one small mistake, everything goes there. So you became more cost efficient. So we were able to do things on time. Better time management was there. Even little before we were able to submit. And most importantly, we were able to, it was more transparent. So access was given to all the people. So if it was not only with me, but it was also with my boss and with my super boss also. So it was also there, and then things all became very quick. Okay, so it was a very quick process that always happened. And looking at this, what happened is like the transformation has changed into 3 important areas. So HR has become, one is COE, it has become a center of excellence. The next one is the shared services, and third one is off late we have been calling as business partners. Okay, so these are the 3 center of excellence. Yes, we are now able to have better control on talent management, rewards management, and help in improving the organizational effectiveness. So this we have become a center of excellence now. And on shared services is like we are also helping customers, internal customers and external customers. Payroll and time management has improved a lot, and employee relations also with respect to like grievance handling and other areas has improved, because the moment grievance is done, if you're not going to attend it to, it is being escalated to the next level. So employee relations is also like helping a lot, and wonderful employee information, HR information system has come where the entire what is required is always available there in the information system. And then we are also now working on a lot of continuous improvement processes there. And then now we have become a very strong communication channel to all the people. Okay, so this is the part of shared services. And off late, what is happening is like, yes, we have been also looked at, because we all have the information with us. We are now looked at as strategic partners. So whenever certain things are planned, we are also involved in these planning activities, because we are also give a lot of predictive informations in respect to manpower. And for example, mostly on the social situations that is happening in and around, because we are the best guys to give what is happening in and around a factory. So we have become what you call business partners. And today we can sit at any place. You might be working remotely, but what happens is like the transformation has helped us a lot to have better control and connect. So lastly is like, what I would like to say here is like, yes, it has helped us a lot in terms of information ergonomy. Next is learning and training, it has helped, and effective communication. These, the transformation helped in the above 3 areas. But again, what is happening is like, it should not stop with this. We as HR professional, what we need to do is like, we'll have to get ourselves, renew things, redesign things, because things continuously change. Change alone is the change. Okay, so we'll have to equip ourselves, get into the good work practices, understand what the organization expects, and then start working on those areas. And mostly is like HR should be just not human resources. We should be a resourceful person to adapt to change, because we are now living in a VUCA world. We don't know what is happening. So until we are a resource person, this transformation, we can do it with wonders. Otherwise, what happens is like, we'll have to be a very fast caterpillar. And finally is like what I would like to say here is like technologies are changing, transformations may happen, requirements may change, expectations may increase, but do not forget the basics. Okay, so the basics are very, very important. Whatever transformation is happening, whatever technology is happening, please do not forget the basics. Because what happened is like technology, we talk, this is what I've seen. I'm not sure if I'm wrong, please correct me. We see a lot of things on technologies, and finally what happens is like we forget the basics. I've seen a lot of recruitments that is happening here. I've done a lot of recruitments with freshers. So what happened is like when we talk, they talk about a lot of technologies, but when we ask the basics, what happens is like it becomes very difficult. So my humble request to all of you is like, please ensure that we are not forgetting the basics at any point of time, because please understand the most positive word today is what? The most positive word today is what?
Artificial intelligence.
No, boss. The most positive word, something on motivation. Important word, this human connect, because without human you cannot bring in any transformation, or you cannot bring any you cannot improve on technologies, or you cannot work technologies. Might be today one part I might lose, but tomorrow to develop that particular technology I require manpower. So please do not forget the human connect. So the human connect is always very, very important, and then respect human as humans. So today, this is my small thought. Today, what we have seen is like we have talked a lot about technologies, but what is happening, the respect on humans is going, because we are behind numbers, we are behind targets. But at the same time, please ensure that on the day, the technologies are very important. The technologies have brought in a lot of support, a lot of transformations, made things very easier. Today, I can order food sitting at my home. Earlier, I was to travel. Today, it has become easier. Things all have become. But what happens is like, please ensure that the human connect is always there. Respect human as humans. Okay, and definitely, yes, transformation has happened today. I'm really happy to say that we as HR have become strategic business partners. We are now able to sit in the board and talk that, okay, this is what is required, because we have also transformed ourselves. And thanks to all these softwares and the technology that has happened, digitalization and the digital transformation, all these three things have helped us a lot to bring in a transformation within ourselves. And today we are happy that we are sitting with the top management and talking, okay, this needs to be done. And we are also bold enough because we have all the data and all the data are accurate and then perfect. We are also able to do it. So this is what I wanted to say to all of you, and might be like we can have more interactions. And I'm sure what I know, I'll best definitely share. And what I don't know, definitely, yes, I will learn and then do it. And I'll try to get the information and share with you. So I'm audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, and quickly what I will do is I'll just take 5 minutes and I'll just share whatever I've shown to you. Might be like it will be easier for you. I take everybody's permission to share.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are able to see. Rajan Babu, sir.
I said in the beginning, we have two people. One is internal, the other one is external. Okay, here it is just very important. Is like transformation is an outcome of digitization. Okay, and it is not the process of the digitalization itself. So this is the butterfly that I wanted to tell. Okay. So whenever your transformation is happening, please ensure that this thought process should always be there. You should be a caterpillar. You should always ensure that caterpillar is turning into a butterfly. Otherwise, what happens is like you'll have to become a very fast caterpillar. It takes a lot of time, to the expected level. What happens is like it becomes very difficult. So this is what I wanted to tell. Why digital transformation is there. The three important things that I was telling you. One is like employee experience. Second one is automate the process, reduce time, and then it's like work on improving the bottom line requirements. So these three things, I think, why I showed this is like, please try to inform or give information to the MBA students or students, whoever it is. Like they should not understand, okay, something is different. Okay, so that's why I just brought it, because we need to understand the basics. So I said in the end that basics are very important. So that's why I showed this digitization and digital transformation. So this was just to give an input, because whatever things you want to do it, if it is not clear and if it is not understood well, then it becomes developing or implementing becomes very difficult. So it is very particular that I wanted to have a particular, what is that you really require should be understood. Other two is like why it is required. If there is a mistake, what will happen and what will be the retrospective effect. So this should be understood when you're doing something. And this is the challenge that I was telling. So it is just opposite to what I have said in the beginning. So this is what I was talking about, the benefits, workplace for future, better employee experience, managing workplace, then accuracy in data and dashboards. And this is the 5 points that I was telling about. Just a small explanation was given in this area. And this is the area of digital transformation that I was just trying to share. One is operative functions, the other one is managerial functions, and the rest what normally happens in an industry. So this is the thing that I was talking about, workplace analytics. So it helped a lot in these areas: turnover, headcount, recruiting, performance, pay, diversity, and benefits. So this is a small example. We were able to present well to the management. So line manager were able to see, HR manager were able to see, and the C-suite people were able to see like what was really happening. So I was just talking about the legal requirements part. So it's just given here. In case in almost all aspects today, it has become very, what do you call, online. So you want a license that needs to be, or you need to have a registration that needs to be done. Everything has become online. So it is saving a lot of time. Only thing is like the basic data needs to be prepared and kept ready. So this is the transformation results that I was talking about, traditional and digital. So you can see we have a lot of time that is required, a lot of time is being saved, and how the HR has now become because of digital transformation. And what is happening, like works in different things. This is what I was talking about. So I just requested that everybody should be a resourceful human to adapt change in this VUCA world. But VUCA is always a negative word, but my word is always like this. We should have a clear vision, understand what the vision is, have confidence, and then have the right attitude. So whatever transformation that is happening, it becomes very, very easy for you to transform yourself. And this is the last one I was telling about. Technology may change, transformation may happen. It may not help, but do not forget to have the basics. They're very, very important. And finally is do not forget this human connect. Whatever it is, to have a human connect. I think most of us would have been facing all these things. So you know like WhatsApp, what is doing. In a house, all three of us sit together, we never have time. So please try to have this respect humans as humans. Okay, and please try to spend time with people. Understand what it is, and then becomes easier for any transformation that will help. Definitely, yes, transformation is helping us a lot. At the same time, it has to be very, very user-friendly and easily adaptable. Unless things are there, you have, for example, now today's news is something different. A lot of changes happened in income tax filing, but what happened is like a lot of complications are coming. They said it is user friendly, but it is complicating. It has become a complication now. Okay, so whatever technology is happening, yes, one side it is good, but at the same time, it has to be on the user friendly. And even technology is fantastic if a layman is able to use it. So wish you all the best. Let the technology transform us, but at the same time, we should also ensure that we also get transformed, adapt to transformation, but do not forget to have this human connect. Okay, so thank you all. Wish you all the best. So this is what I wanted to say. Might be next 20 minutes or 30 minutes. If anything is there, we can discuss, or anybody else can also share.
Do you use any specific tool for this, or it's integrated with the ERP?
Yes, sir. In some companies, yes. I'm sorry, I have not, but I have seen a lot of things happening with ERP because there is a separate module that is always there. But normally, what happens? It is given a last priority. SAP, yes, of course. HR SAP is there where everything is connected.
Payroll management, you are on Tally, is it? Payroll
We have Tally is something different. We have specific software programs.
Okay.
What's happening now? Like we need to customize to the legal requirements also. Like for example,
right.
register needs to be maintained. Okay, when inspections come, so we'll have to maintain those registers. So it is always customized.
Okay.
We have separate.
Yeah.
Sir, as a HR manager, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Like how do you manage the resistance from the employee side, especially when a new technology is being introduced?
Yes, a lot of challenges are there, but at the same time, it is an opportunity, right? So one is like what happens is mostly the change or it is being informed in a different way. Okay, so to me, what I've just come across, I'll just share, like I'll be very open, very transparent. Okay, so I normally, suppose it is going to happen in the 3rd month or 4th month. It is not just talking in front of just a month before, but what normally happens is like some hints are already given. Okay, this is the change that is going to happen. Be prepared, be prepared. Okay, and then what happens is then automatically what happens is people automatically come to you. Right, sir, this is going to happen. What is it? So what happens is like you're just bringing them into your court and then now you are asking them to sit and then you're explaining all those things. So only thing here is like we normally what happens is like it has to be a confidence building process, not a threat process. Okay, including you or me, like if I just ask you, Kavita, don't sit here, just go to that side, what do you do? Don't sit in the seat, just go to the next seat, go sit in the next seat, what do you do?
I will resist.
You will resist. It is human, right? So anybody, even me or you, it is there. But at the same time, when I tell you, Kavita, if you're going to go sit there, you're going to have all these opportunities here. And then ask you to go and sit, what you'll do?
I will go.
Happily.
But only thing is like you should not get corrupted by others. Okay, reality is something different. You get corrupted because, example, Bala, I'm just quoting an example, not really. If you go and talk to Bala, Bala will say, don't go, madam. Don't go there, please don't go there. Okay, so that should not be there. See, once that is there, you take, once I explain everything here, and then you are convinced, and then you go there. And here what happens is like, the most important thing that I've seen, we have brought in a lot of changes. Especially I've worked with a lot of changes because I still remember there is absolutely a transformation from a traditional industry to a MNC company. Okay, so a lot of resistance was there. And today I'm happy that people call me and tell me, sir, you told me that day itself, sir, that you concentrate on quality because the quality rejection is about 16%. I told them once your white skin comes, white skin means nothing but MNC. Okay, they will put a lot of pressure on you and they'll say that it has to be only 2%, 3%. So you will have a lot of pressure, start working on this. Okay, so the communication plays a very, very important role. And the communication is not giving what you call on the it'll be like this, it'll be like this. No, it is not like that at all. It has to be very firm, concrete, and then very clear. And it should be not a threat, not showing threat. Okay, like you are going to lose people, because immediately what happens, a lot of people's mindset will be is like, my job is going to get lost. So all those things will be there. So you have to be ensure that when you are talking in such a way that the confidence is built, and then you're going to tell them that you're going to get an opportunity to learn all these things. Okay, so what happens is like we select few people because some automation happens, for example. So what happens is we send people for training. So that itself gives them a lot of measures. For example, automation happens is like might be 2 people are going to be removed from there. But what happens is if there is an issue in the automation, so what you need is somebody who needs to equip themselves. So what is happening? Those 2 people are picked up and then given them the training. So they are not losing their job. Okay. And of course, yes, manpower reduction normally happens is like, it all depends upon and various initiatives are taken. So suppose like fully it is going to get automated, a lot of things happen on the other side. So a lot of compensations are worked out and then it is all. So you go as per the statutory requirements, whatever is happening, automations. Okay, but here communication plays a very, very vital role. And importantly, what I found is like talking to an operator level operating members is something different. You cannot be talking to people whom you are talking to a senior level people. So you'll have to talk to their level. You'll have to make them understand in such a way that they also understand. For example, an operating member is you go talk high-fly language with them, what will happen? Okay, so the resistance becomes more. Sir, you are coming and telling something else. I'm not able to understand. That means you are threatening us. Okay, but the communication plays a very, very important role. You'll have to talk to them in such a level that they are also understandable. Next one is like the first important point is before talking to the bottom line people, your management level people should be very clear. Because they are the people who, because like the moment I come and tell Kavita what will happen is like, you will go and ask your immediate boss, sir, what is this, sir? HR is calling and saying like this, what is it? So that time your boss should not say that, yeah, I don't know anything here. HR is something. So what happens is like the conflicts start. So the management level also should be very clear like what it is. And HR here plays a very, very important role, taking everybody into confidence. And my absolute experience here is like, for example, the company which I was talking about is like communication. So I used to go to shop floor, tell them that, okay, things are changing. You cannot be what you were earlier. If you're going to be out, if you're going to be like what you are, you'll be definitely sacked or you'll be going out. So unless and until you're going to change, it is not going to happen. It was told in such a way. You used to walk into shop floor, tell them very clearly, this is what's going to happen. And then make them understand, and then we started implementing, it became easier. Talk about the benefits also, like what is happening. So that way it is very clear. Be transparent, have strong communication skills. At the same time, talk to people at their level of understanding. You cannot be talking to them like with high-fi things. So a lot of places this happens, and what happens is like whatever you want to, or whatever changes you want it to need to happen, it all fails because clarity is not there.
Sir, participants, do you have any question?
Two things are there. One, people did not understand what I said, or people have understood what all I have said.
Sir, one more question from my side. Sir, as a director of HR department, now what do you think are the skill sets that are needed, especially for a rapidly changing world and technology? Today's technology becomes obsolete tomorrow. So in this kind of a complex situation where the technological advances happen so rapidly, now what are the different kinds of skill sets do you think are needed for someone who wants to take up HR profession, or what is the advice that you would give us? Especially we have some good number of HR faculty members here as participants. So what is that take home advice that you would like to give us?
See, first is like I said in the beginning itself, first is understand the basics. So basics are not going to change at all. Okay, so for example, I'll just tell you, how do you calculate gratuity? Okay, so that's a basic formula. And similarly, how do you calculate provident fund? I have seen a lot of people coming and telling me is like, is it basic DA or what is the percentage? They say 12%. On what? It's a gross salary. Okay, so what is happening? So without understanding the basics, what happened is like it becomes very difficult. So basics are very, very important. So to all the HR faculty members here, what I would like to suggest is like create all the students who are very strong in basics. All basics is required in industry. Whatever is required. For example, the legal requirements are there. Similarly, like when you look at what do you call on the recruitment part, on what basis you look at people. See, having 10 out of 10 is not going to be important at all. Okay, the way he is going to communicate and the way he is going to answer your questions are very important. And I believe strongly is his attitude. When I ask you some question and you say, I'm sorry, sir, I'll get back to you. Next time when I meet, I will come and tell you, I will take that person. Why? Because he has that learning attitude. So this is the first thing that, because with the changes that is happening, you should have a strong acumen to learn things. The quicker the learner you are on the top. So this learning attitude is very, very important. Understand the basics, learn what is happening in and around. And I always suggest when I talk to students, is like what is happening in and around your area, please be updated. And today we have Googles, today we have a lot of things. We spend a lot of time on different things. But here is like, and another request to all the HR faculty and other faculty members also is like, give them small assignments. Okay, give them small assignments. Form groups, give them small assignments. Ask them to come and present like what is the latest updates that is happening in each area. So one is like they are going in search of things, they are learning things. So I teach, no issues, but you learn, you get a lot of information. And that is shared with a lot of people. So that is very important. And then today, another important thing is like analytical and critical, analytical skills are very, very important. Today, what is happening, like if you want to be good in AI, you need to have good analytical skills. So it is not just the data that it is available, but the interpretation of data are very, very important. Because a top guy who asks you a question, suppose I ask Bala, like, what is this, Bala? What is this you are given? What is the information you are going to give? It is not just giving an information sharing alone, but you should be in a position to analyze that and then give inputs. So how it can be improved. So analytical skills are very, very important. And of all today's situation, the best part of it is like these three things are important for all HRs or any leaders you want to become. Okay, one is decision-making skills, because you don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. You cannot plan, okay, I will think like this, I will think. You will have to be a good decision maker. Once you're a decision maker, you will have to ensure that your communication is good. Whatever decisions you have taken, you will have to communicate to people, and then people look at you as what good is like. People look at you as an action-oriented person. And all these things, your knowledge, your experience, your skill is not going to help, but unless and until you're going to develop these as qualities. So decision making, communication, and action oriented, all this thing has not skill but has a quality, right? All these things will make you a good situation leader. And I've been very successful, right? Because like I was handling a lot of things here, and you don't know at 2 o'clock you get a call. What do you do now? Okay, you get a call at 2 o'clock telling that
patiently should answer.
Supper is not good. And the line is stopped. What is it you're going to do now?
Call the canteen manager and find out what happened.
It takes a lot of time, right? So next day morning you are fired because of canteen food issues. The entire production is stopped. You'll have to take a quick decision, right? So immediately you'll have to see like who's there. You'll have to identify which guy can solve this problem immediately, because you cannot rush. I was staying in Kanchipuram, the factory is in Varakadam. Right? You'll have to be a very good decision maker, and then you'll have to communicate to that guy. And then finally you'll have to see some action is taken. Okay, so all these three put together, what happens is today, what is really required is in this kind of situation, because you don't know what is happening, what will happen, you will have to be a very good situation leader. So these qualities have to be developed. Unless and until you may be called as a leader, whatever leader is, this is my strong opinion. If you're a good situation leader, you can handle any crisis that is coming, any changes that is happening, you can be a wonderful person. Because you have the guts to do it, you are always ready to take risk. It imbibes inside yourself. So I've been very successful, and for all of you, I'll tell you very honestly, I'm not an aged person. I'm just 52 years old. I took a risk in my life at 47, where I was drawing about 45 lakhs as salary. very comfortable. Okay, I took a risk at 47, came out and started this organization called Arga HR Technologies. And honestly telling, what I've not learned during 25 years, I've learned in 5 years. Today, I'm able to give all the inputs to any organization that is happening, including your government orders. Because you need to be updated, and I'm being updated now. So any information you call, any information you want, we are able to give realistic, practical solutions to everybody. And solutions are in such a way that, okay, you have never thought about it at all. Okay, so this all helped me is because it's like decision making was quiet, because whatever I'm talking now is just extempo. In fact, I told Kavita madam I'll talk only extempo, but I had to make some presentation. Okay, so this is what is there. Try to inculcate this in the students. So how will you do it is like give them small assignments, ask them to perform, give them a week's time, have a time frame that is happening, including technology updations that is happening, including what is happening in and around. This will help them a lot to be updated. And the moment they get inside the some interviews happening, what happens is like they walk with a lot of confidence because they are very strong in basics. And please take it from me, the questions that will be asked is only simple case studies or simple basics that will be asked. With a fresher, I cannot go and ask like, how will you solve this issue? Yes, I will ask this, but I will look at how good you are in analyzing things, how good you are in critical thinking, and how fast you are able to give me a solution. So that is what is being looked at. So this you'll have to imbibe to the students today. I'm dead against that saying that today's students there's a lot of skill gaps. No, it is not like that. Students are equally good, much better than what we are. And only thing is like we'll have to encourage them, telling them that okay, you will do it, you can do it. And with this quote, I will conclude, and then I will answer. If I can do it, I will do it. If I can't do it, I will learn to do it. Mudiyum endral mudiyum, mudiyad endral. Okay, this is the famous quote that I tell everybody is to boost everybody and give a lot of confidence. Students are wonderful. Only thing is, you have to just give them, ignite them with a small spark, and definitely, yes, they will all be the wonderful leaders in future. So, please encourage them to do small projects. Interns, you just go sit inside the factory and come out. Ask them what you learned. That is more important. What you have learned when you're doing internship, that is more important. Give them small assignments, ask them to update. Learn from them also. And as a faculty, we should also be updated what is happening in and around.
Sir, there's a question from Mika. Can HR be fully dependent on technology?
Not exactly, madam. Only one word I can give you, not exactly. I'll just put a question again back, right? There is an issue. There is a grievance. Can technology help?
Maybe.
Technology will give you the past experience, what happened, the similar situation last time. So at least we can get a solution from that and then go by the experience. Now, which is there in our mind.
But still, the connect is more important, right?
Human connect is definitely required.
So not everything might be, yes. Certain things, yes, it is very difficult, especially on the grievance handling part. Definitely, yes, technology might be, you can have some information what has happened or what actions were taken. And please understand whatever decisions you have taken earlier will not be applicable for the next time also.
That's right. Every situation is different.
Every situation, sometimes situations are also same, but you cannot take the same decision.
Solutions have to be different. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that has to be different. So definitely, no, not all things can be, have technology, but certain
solution. That's right.
Definitely, yes, you need to have human connect. That's why I said human connect is more important. Whatever changes may happen, but human connect is very, very important. Small example, Bala, talking here and directly talking, you can feel the difference. What we are doing now is technology.
Absolutely, yeah, because you do not know what is the reaction of the others.
But doing it directly with you, direct meeting, you can see the difference.
Definitely, you can feel a lot of difference.
Here the connect is less.
That's right.
So this is just an example that I wanted to give.
That's right, absolutely right, you're right.
One question, can HR certification helps to get updated skills, knowledge, technology? Of course, yes, whatever you are studying, it is only the knowledge. You are going to improve your knowledge. And one question, how many of you have dreamt that I wanted to become a teacher or a professor? Only few. Ritu, did you feel that you wanted to become a lecturer?
No, sir, not at all.
Honestly, very honestly, you should tell me.
Yes, sir. I never want to be a professor. But by grace of God, I am here. Even I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a director, but by grace of God, I have choose this profession. But it's work, but I don't feel a worth now, because as a profession, we are not, as a professor, very much clear, we are not getting what we are supposed to get. The same thing what we are going to do in the corporate, we are getting triple or fourth of it. Even my students are getting triple and fourth, and they are laughing on me. So that's why yesterday also I had the same session thing. My phenomena is that we are by chance as a professor. By luck, we are a professor. But
No, not only you, Ritu, most of us. Even I wanted to become a doctor.
Accident.
Right? I wanted to become a doctor. I was so interested to become a doctor. I wanted to become a famous heart surgeon. That was my dream.
Rajan sir, I want to be a doctor, but by grace of God, I become a PhD doctor. Books doctor.
That's right. Okay, so normally why I wanted to say this is like, normally, right, I can say like about 80%, 20% are gifted, right? But 80% is by chance. I didn't want to become a HR professional at all. I hated HR professional. Because the worst part is like, I wanted to send people out. Okay, that's the worst part of my career. And I thought henceforth I should not become a HR at all. But over a period of time, what happened? Me, myself, the way I started connecting with you, today you will all be surprised. I have about 3,000 HR connects across India by WhatsApp. And every day morning 6:30, committedly I'm sending for last 5 years motivational messages, learning templates and all updates. And Monday morning I don't send, one day I don't send, I get a lot of messages. Sir, what has happened to you? Okay, so whatever you're doing, why I'm saying this is like, whatever you want to do, yes, you start loving it. Love it, whatever, whether you liked it or not liked it, but you have to definitely love it. It's like me, my wife is not here, so I can talk boldly. I was expecting a different kind of, but this wife, I love to love her. Okay, so what you expect and what really happens is something different, but you should always be committed, become a passionate toward what you have got. And from there, you will have to start developing. For that, always do not forget, I repeat again, your basics are very, very important. Please do not forget the basics. Whatever technologies today, please understand, we are coming back to taking tea in a mud pot. Earlier it was there taking tea in a mud pot. Mud cup was something different. Today we have started taking, and we were all only with pizzas and other things. Today we have started taking all immune building systems, immune building food systems, which we all hated. Okay, so things are all coming back. So at any point of time, please do not forget basics. And certification, it upgrades your knowledge, but definitely when it comes to application, it is something different. It is only a knowledge that is there, but when it is getting applied, it is totally different. But you have to improve your quality, not skills, quality on the application front. And always link whatever certification you're doing with applicability. Certifications are different, but when it comes to real-time applicability, it is different. So try to improve on your applicability side. And certification definitely helps you, because a lot of people ask me also like whether you have done this course, whether you have done this course. But by virtue of experience, I talk like, okay, as if I've done this course, but I honestly tell that I have not done any course. So what I talk is only reality and applicability. Ground, down to earth. What is happening on the ground, I talk. So applicability, please ensure that that skills are being developed, that quality is being developed. It is not just certification alone. My certificate has never helped me a lot to get any job. It is only like the experience, the thing that I communicate, the actions that I've taken as is being seen, not my knowledge. So it is only for entry level, you see what you have done, how much you have scored. But over a period of time is like your experience, and then how you convert this experience into your skill and how it is being communicated, that becomes more important. So Venkat, please ensure that whatever certifications you do, definitely it helps, it upgrades your skills, but at the same time, look at the applicability part. Without that, it becomes very difficult. Okay.
Sir, one interception, sir. whether
please.
we are wanting to be a student, teacher throughout the life or not. Wanting to be a student is always there. We learn from different people around us, situations around us that teach much more than what we can learn.
Might be I'll be very happy, Jayanti, if like COVID anything comes and then it makes us to stay where we are.
Yeah, true, sir.
No improvements, no going older or not getting younger. What you are, if you are there, then it is always happy. But see, it's always a transformation, right? You cannot be just crying like, okay, it was all nice. You can only enjoy the past. And the good time is when you meet all your friends. I have my friends from first standard. Still we are connected. We have a separate WhatsApp group. And boys and girls are there. And we meet today also, like we call Podi Vada, Vada Podi. And then we behave like what we were. And no, absolutely no change at all. Whoever it is, whether your husband is there, my wife is there, no problem. My daughter asked me this question. Sir, what is this, daddy? When you're talking to your friend, girl, my classmate, you're talking so close, you're sitting nearby and then talking. But when I sit with my friend, you're shouting, why? I told it is all age. Once you change, then I will not question. No problem at all. Because we have friends. Even last Saturday, we had our school friends from first standard till 10th, we studied together. So everybody is in a different way and we talk in such a way that it is always like that only. This is what we talk. Then she, I think she's coming, keep quiet. So this is how we talk, so we enjoy. So school days is always wonderful. But ultimately, like what is happening, you cannot be a school student always, right? Abdina, you have to always fail. Like some Vivek, somebody happens, no, like he always be in the college. Like very well, sorry. So batch is changed, but I will be in the college itself. So I will see everybody. Might be Kavita, I would have seen, then Kavita's children would have become professors, I would have seen, and it will go for third generation. So it cannot be like, you'll have to transform. But enjoy. And please allow your students also to enjoy. But please have a control. Because whatever they are learning in the college is very, very important. Because what you practice in college, it becomes very, very important, right? Because you let them loose and coming out for the interview also, they just come. I've seen a lot of students coming very casually. I used to get wild, right? I respect people, but when I look at all these things, I get wild. Okay, and these kind of good habits needs to be inculcated in the college itself. So that is why I suggested, keep them always engaged, give them projects, ask them to perform, ask them to present. So a lot of things helps. One is knowledge updation, one is their presentation, their communication skills, everything is there. And finally, you need not give any training, special training for placement at all. They'll be fully prepared.
Rajan sir, I have one question. Please don't take it otherwise. I'm in a big school and we have a lot, what you are saying, we are doing in a CAP activities. Our students are awesome, no doubt. I'm a finance faculty and we are doing all these presentation communications and all the assignments, mini projects like MDI and IIMs. We are doing like, but still our students are unable to crack the interviews. What is the reason behind it? They are very good. They are very good in our in-house, and even we have captured the things like a recording part also. But even though they are unable to crack the interviews, what are the basics? And they are very good in basics also and softwares also.
And the problem is not like one is like the first person who attends the interview is always a culprit.
Oh,
You have to be very careful. Okay. So what happens? I'll tell you without of my experience where I used to support a lot of people. I go for mock interviews, but teach them not to threaten them. Okay, so now what happens? The first person who attends the interview is the culprit. Okay, so what happens is, no, like he comes on and gives all the information that, see what is happening. You would have, or we would have understood, and then we would have given some kind of inputs. It is not the same inputs that the HR guy would be asking or the technical guy would be asking. You understand? So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is right. It is like writing your exams, right? So you prepare very well for your exams. I think you would have,
what is the question paper? What type of questions they have asked you?
I'm just coming in a different way.
Okay.
The exam hall, right? And there is always a villain who comes and tell you like whether you have studied this, whether you have studied this. We would not have prepared at all. You have come across a situation?
Yes.
And you will ask immediately, yes, like who said this? he will say that, no, the professor only said. So what is happening to you? You get corrupted, so you are prepared well, but still what happened is with one question, what is happening? And remember, when you went to the exam hall, you did not see what questions, what you knew has come or not, but you were more interested to see whether that question has come or not. Am I right? Psychology.
I agree. The psychological part of this hits comes. We have to manage this.
Okay, so this what you'll have to do is now you'll have to be very careful here.
Done.
So that you will have to do it. And similarly, what I will do is conduct some kind of mock interviews.
We have a specialization channel.
No, I'll just tell you mock interviews should be sudden.
Awful sudden. Okay.
You should not keep them informed. Tomorrow we are going to have mock interview. No, it should not be like that.
Okay. Spontaneously, you can say.
Suddenly you will have to tell. It has to be only known to Ritu and your department people. Nobody else should know. And suddenly you have to tell, you call somebody like me and then say that today we are going to have interview.
Done.
Okay, so what is happening here? One is your preparation is there. No preparations at all. I've seen in one college, they asked me to do for about 25 people because I was a senior guy. They didn't want me to sit.
Okay, done.
I saw about 50 people sitting in front of my cabin.
Okay.
Then why? No, they all said, no, I want to attend the interview with you. Because what I did is I gave them the learning. Though it was very serious as a mock interview, but I gave them a lot of learnings. So the interview rating sheet, you know what I did? I asked them to fill themselves. Okay, I was just only little, and next cabin there was a lot of shouting that was happening. So here it was something learning, and then I gave them all the assignment. Next time when I come, so all this you should improve and then come. And invariably what happened, you'll be surprised. Same resume, only name was changed and the CGPA score was same. Rest all it was the same format. And why what happened is they suddenly said that is a campus interview, mock interview. So we had no other option to just go copy and paste and come. So that time was the learning for them. So today even some guys are with me, they can connect. They say that's it was very nice for you. So today we are placed here, we were able to do it. And similarly, please try to give them a lot of confidence. Okay, okay, you can do it. And one time failure, you can just talk to them and find out what went wrong there. Okay, normally campus interviews, what we do is once somebody fails, we just leave it.
No, we used to take a feedback, sir.
No, not feedback. You can ask them to give a day's time and tell them to come and tell next day what went wrong really.
Okay.
I had a 10 out of 10. My scores were excellent. My academics were very good. I had a lot of certification courses were there. But one important thing was I was not able to sell myself. Okay, I was very confident.
Not a good presenter.
The moment I saw the HR manager, what happened is I was able to talk from here. Till this, my answer was here. But because the moment the HR manager would have been sitting like this, and the moment, yes, bolo kya chahiye aapko? Haan, bolo. He was talking, what happened is immediately, the first time and the aspirations become very high. That is what I said. Expectations become very high because I want to get this job. Okay, so that feeling itself, what happens is it creates a hindrance for your performance. You will have to walk casually. You will have to go casually and tell them very clearly, yes, if you fail, don't worry. It is not that company has rejected you. Give them that information. Okay, you have something better. I've been in the villages, right? I remember when I wanted to move out of a company, I still remember one of my guru who taught me HR. He told, Rajan, please wait. Okay, it is better than to be with the devil than with an unknown angel. So just wait, you'll get an opportunity. Okay, I just broke that and then I got an opportunity to work with Chavalas. So that was the time that when the brand built. Three years is your experience. Please inculcate everybody to ensure that they create that experience part. They have to gain this experience. First 3 years, if they have good experience, what happens is like next 55 years, they are the kings. And this is the base for their career, or strong basement for their career. If that is laid well, then definitely yes. So not salary alone, but experience is very, very important. And bigger companies you go, salaries are bigger, but experience is less. So please ensure that on the salary part, experience part is created. And then encourage during them interns, please encourage them to perform. It is not just for internals, but it is for learning. If that is there, definitely yes, everybody will shine. I know everybody's stomach is now asking for a good food.
Yes, sir.
There we would have had good food.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So feedback, I would just like to have, I'll tell you very honestly, Kavita, I'm talking about technology.
Sir, pardon?
Very honestly, I'm telling you, I'm talking about HR technologies.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether I fulfilled all everybody's expectation. If I'm not fulfilled, definitely I'll improve. Next time, definitely is much better than what I've spoken today.
No, sir, we have a good number of messages stating that the session was good. And we will also share the feedback with you. If there are no more questions, then we can.
Only one request, madam. I would like to have 1 or 2 feedbacks from the participants. It is only to improve myself.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Anybody.
Yes, sir. And some participants, if you can open up your video, we can have a screenshot.
I can give spontaneously my feedback. It's a great learning. Already I'm doing it. But Rajan sir, it's a very practical thought what you have given to us. See, because at some moment we can stop the technology. But after that, what you say, a grievance pass, a human touch, a technology cannot do it. So it is for some point of view, they can help us. But later, we as a human, we have to be a happy learner every time, right?
Ritu, you are from IIT Madras? Any chance?
No, sir, I'm not from Madras. I'm from North. I'm from Delhi.
Okay. No, I had one friend I had a professor from IIT.
Okay.
Right, and we had a program for the executive development. They have a MBA program for executives, no? So in that one guest lecture that was given on industrial relations. So I just, it was about 6-7 years back. So I just wanted to clarify, nothing else.
No, sir, it's my pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Good. Anybody else would like to give?
Sir, you can make it more interactive, sir. That's like previous sessions wherein they ask questions and we give answers and something like that. So it becomes very not monotonous because we are into giving lecture mode all the time. No? Like you said, role play and all. Like it can be made even in a session like this. Maybe 2-3 minutes, everybody will be awake and much more.
In fact, what happened is, sorry, Jayanti. In fact, I just wanted to come. Only 2 people spoke. In the beginning, I wanted to have it as a session like that only, but responses were very less. So I thought, okay, no, like even me being first time, I didn't want to write, okay. And
so far, this group has been very interactive. All the sessions I've been seeing, it has been very interactive and able guidance of Kavita.
Within an hour, and then I made it to, then again I asked a lot of questions if anything is there. And definitely, yes, I'll take your words. I'm more interactive guy only, like, and might be this time I also had a big expectation that you're all professors and I had to show some presentations for you.
Okay.
I'll do it next time. Definitely I'll take it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. எனக்கும் ஜெயந்திக்கும் எப்போதுமே பிரச்சனை தாங்க. We all from school days.
Okay.
In a lighter way.
Okay. So thank you so much, Rajan Babu sir.
Madam, ஒரே ஒரு நிமிஷம் மேடம். பாலா சார் ஒருத்தர் நல்லா என்கிட்ட ஆர்கியூ இது வந்துட்டே பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தார் மேடம்.
Bala sir.
நம்ம SRM தானே அவரு?
No. Bala Subramanian Gurumurthy. I think that's his name. Bala sir, are you there?
Thank you, Bala sir. And I want to say specifically thank you to you because You are always keeping me awake.
Okay. Okay. So
So
thank
wish you all the best, madam. And yes,
yes.
again, I repeat, just before you conclude, yes, technologies may change, technologies may happen, but please do not forget to have this human connect. Not all technologies will help definitely with connecting with people, and either this way or that way, like what happens, just like human connect, it should always be there. At least if 95% is your technology, 5% should be your human connect, and this 5% will help you to transform this 95% of your technology improvements or transformation that is happening.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the patience, and Jayanti, I'm definitely taking it, and definitely next time when we are meeting, it'll
Yes.
be never show any presentation. I'll only be interactive, ask a lot of questions, and that saves a lot of my money and my time, and then I also learn a lot of things.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and honestly, Jayanti, thank you very much for putting a straightforward, comment, and I appreciate and I take it very sportively.
Okay. So thank you so much, Rajan Babu sir, for joining us today and for sharing all your rich experiences with us. I know you had a very long journey as a HR manager, and now you are heading an organization yourself. So your session was wonderful, and I think all our participants, they also had some real take-homes for this session end. So thank you so much, Rajan Babu sir, for joining us today and for your valuable session.